Welcome to B.R. Ambedkar Open University students. Let us discuss now about persuasive communications. Persuasive communication is an important form of communication for many professionals like lawyers, salespersons, advertising specialists, public relations experts and politicians. It is also important in general for people at home and in work related settings. The most prominent form of persuasive communication in our lives is advertising, newspapers, radio and TV advertising at home, billboards, neon signs or banners in store windows, and instant messages, SMS and emails in our mobiles directly or indirectly try to influence our attitudes towards products and services. So, most of the organizations are using this persuasive communication through various modes of communication. There are two other contexts in which persuasion plays a key role. They are conflict resolution and negotiation. These two things are very essential in corporate lives and academia also. As a management student, it is essential for you to have an understanding of the use of persuasion in different contexts. Richard M. Perloff 2003 defined persuasive communication as a symbolic process in which communicators try to convince other people to change their attitudes or behavior regarding an issue through the transmission of a message in an atmosphere of free choice. So, this is basically communicating and trying to convince other people. So, other people can be anybody. It can be an average person, it can be a corporate executive, it can be a government employee or an NGO employee, it can be anybody. So, basically you are trying to convince somebody through your communication. That is the idea here. Then there are 5 elements of persuasive communication. Let us look at them one by one. Number 1, symbolic process. Symbolic process involves preparation of messages with symbols. Symbols means they are not like some drawings, but in this context symbols means words, images and signs that have ability to influence. For example, words can be any word, any contextual word, meaningful word which is able to influence. An image can be a logo or any symbol, and a sign may be an arrow mark or into, it can be anything, but all these things are contributing in the communication process to influence somebody. That is symbolic process. Number 2 is transmission of message. The message is transmitted by oral or written methods. So, when you speak, it becomes oral method, the message is transmitted, or if you write something, it becomes written method through which also messages are transmitted. Then third one is free choice. The recipients who are involved in this communication process enjoy a free choice. For example, they are not coerced, they are not forced to speak something, they are not afraid. They are only exposed to a forceful message that is capable of influencing them. There is force in influencing, but not influencing the person who is speaking to other person. It is up to them to change or not to change, but there is a free choice. You can enjoy the freedom of your choice. Then number 4 is reinforce or convincing process. As a type of social influence, it makes an impression which alters the thoughts or actions of others. It involves 3 processes: shaping, reinforcing and changing. So, these are in the process of reinforce or convincing process. Number 5 is attitudes. These are shaped by associating pleasing ones with a product, person or idea. where audience is in a mood to change. It reinforces the position they are holding. In case of others, it may result in change in their attitudes. So, these are the 5 elements of persuasive communication. Please remember: symbolic process, transmission of message, free choice, reinforce or convincing process, then attitudes. These are the 5 elements. Now, persuasive strategies in business communication. As all of you know, business communication is one of the important subjects at MBA level or even executive MBA level. Even in the corporate world, business communication is given a lot of prominence. So, persuasive strategies in this area. There are 9 persuasive strategies that you can use to more effectively influence persons' beliefs, attitudes and values. Belief system is very strong in any given individual. Their belief system is very strong because it is nurtured, it is developed through many years. So, it takes a lot of time to make or break somebody's belief system. Similarly, attitude also, it is formed since childhood, ever since the child is born, and so many factors, influencing factors are there which shapes up the attitude, and it is volatile, it keeps changing time and again. Then values also, value system once formed, it is very difficult to break, but these things must be kept in mind. Then secondly, they are ethos, logos, pathos, positive motivation and negative motivation, cognitive dissonance, appeal to safety needs, appeal to social needs and appeal to self-esteem needs. So, there are 9 persuasive strategies. I repeat: ethos, logos, pathos, positive motivation, negative motivation, cognitive dissonance, appeal to safety needs, appeal to social needs and appeal to self-esteem needs. Now, ethos, logos and pathos, these terms were proposed by Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, in the context of rhetoric. The remaining 6 are based on the research in human psychology. So, one must look at these things in a very broader context and try to understand. Now, let us discuss one by one what are these strategies. For example, ethos or ethos also you can say. Ethos refers to the credibility of a speaker. How credible, reliable is a speaker. It includes 3 dimensions: competence, trustworthiness and dynamism. Competence refers to the expertise of speaker in the specific subject of communication. Whatever the speaker is taking up, is there a competence in that or not? Then competent speakers deliver messages based on research and speak eloquently and confidently. As they speak, one can understand the depth of the subject, the level of their knowledge. Then trustworthiness refers to the belief that the speaker says only the right things. Everybody, audience believes that once you are a speaker, there is a trustworthiness, he speaks all correct things only. The speaker therefore has to present accurate, credible information in a balanced and straightforward way. They will be friendly and warm and do not coerce the audience. So, in a non-threatening way, if a speaker is giving the information and presenting the things, that will be reaching the audience in a proper way, that is ethos. Dynamism refers to charisma and energy. Charisma refers to unique qualities that make a speaker attractive to an audience. Energy enables one to speak actively and enthusiastically. So, a speaker must establish that credibility and that competence, trustworthiness, and he should be dynamic. So, these are the things under ethos. Then let us look at logos. Logo is not just a symbol or something. In this context, logo refers to the reasoning or logic of an argument. Research shows that messages are more persuasive when arguments are verifiable, specific and unbiased. It means they are research based, authentic and accurate. Presenting a logical argument is important, but speakers can be more effective persuaders if they bring in and refute counter arguments. It means when you present something with the support of various things, verifiable, specific and unbiased data or information, there is less chance for counter arguments. That has to be ensured. Then we come to pathos. Pathos refers to emotional appeals. By stirring emotions in an audience, you can get them involved in the speech. That is why there are few speakers whose speeches are very attractive and audience are glued to them on the TV or on radio or on mobile. When somebody speaks, we feel like listening to them for more time, longer time, because of their pathos. And involvement can create more opportunities for persuasion and action. So, this must be remembered by any communicator in this persuasive communication. Then let us look at cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance refers to the mental discomfort, uneasiness. Those results when new information clashes with currently held views and beliefs. As I discussed earlier, this belief system and views are already set and fixed in a person's mind, and when somebody else is trying to speak something new which is out of their purview or out of their belief system, it creates a slight dissonance or discomfort in the thought process. So, cognitive means related to mind, thinking and understanding. Cognitive dissonance is mental discomfort, uneasiness. So, this strategy is based on three assumptions. People favor consistency in their thinking. Inconsistency results in psychological discomfort. Every psychological discomfort will motivate people to act and restore balance. So, messages that cause cognitive dissonance will persuade people to act and regain psychological comfort. In simple words, messages that cause cognitive dissonance means which are creating little bit of uneasiness or disturbance in the minds of audience will lead to more understanding, and some sort of conflict may also arise, but it is making the people think. That is why cognitive dissonance also sometimes helps the communicator. Then let us move on to the other things like positive motivation. Positive motivation can be created by praise and rewards while communicating with others, because we are talking about persuasive communication. Little bit of praise and rewards in terms of maybe praising somebody or thanking somebody or mentioning their names occasionally, that will help them in opening up and communicating better. The messages implicitly or explicitly convey to the audience that following the advice in the message will lead to positive results. An advertisement of Cadbury silk chocolate, for example, employed joy appeal. It demonstrated a girl and a boy enjoying the Cadbury chocolate in a joyous mood. So, the advertisement is also form of communication. So, through this advertisement a joyful mood is reflected, so that there is a suggestion that in happy moments you can go for some chocolate which is Cadbury's brand, and in that advertisement it is shown. Then let us move on to negative motivation. Threat of punishment or negative consequences can be used for negative motivation. Negative motivation states that failure to follow a speaker's advice will result in negative consequences. For example, Saffola brand oil is there, brand of cooking oil. used fear appeal very successfully in the early 90s with its visual of a husband being wheeled into an operation theatre with the background sounds of an ambulance siren. So, there is some negative suggestion there. If you use bad oils, maybe one day you will go to hospital. That is why brands like Saffola are very healthy and useful. That was a suggestion established in that particular advertisement. So, these are some of the examples for persuasive communication. Why different brands and different companies are doing this? They are using this type of communication with the potential customer because there is a chance of promoting their product in a better way by using different methods. Then appeal to safety needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is one of the famous studies in psychology and management also. Maslow's hierarchy of needs states that humans have 5 levels of needs that can be arranged in an hierarchical order. They include psychological needs, safety needs, social needs, self-esteem needs, self-actualization needs. So, these are the needs suggested by Maslow after studying thousands of people. So, a persuasive strategy can emphasize the satisfaction of the needs. Any one of these needs, if they are satisfied through your persuasive communication, then you are a better communicator. Safety and security of individuals, their family and friends can be motivated to change attitudes and beliefs also. So, through your communication, if anybody is feeling secure or safe, then your persuasive communication is working on them. For example, insurance agents emphasize individual and family security benefits to change attitudes in favor of insurance buying. So, whenever an insurance company agent comes to you, they give you lot of information about your future, your health, your family, so many things. So, your safety is discussed. So, it is communicated that your safety is our responsibility. That is how they are trying to sell insurance policies. So, different organizations, different individuals, different brands are following their way of communication, which is persuasive communication. Then we come to appeal to social needs. Social needs refer to love, friendship, acceptance, affection, achievement, independence, status and prestige are made use to develop a talk or message to influence people. How? For example, prestige pressure cooker cleverly cast on the husband-wife relationship. You look at these advertisements with a powerful campaign and an iconic punchline. If they love their wife, can they say no to prestige pressure cooker? That is a punchline or tagline of that advertisement. It means a loving husband will gift his wife with prestige pressure cooker only. So, the brand name is promoted and emotionally the social needs are touched upon in that advertisement, and the person who is looking at the ad is convinced to buy such products. So, there are several examples in which we can see that persuasive communication is used in a different manner, and anybody who is mastering this persuasive communication skill will be highly successful either in the academia or corporate life. So, Maslow's hierarchy of needs we have already discussed. Appeal to self-esteem needs is one more point we have to cover here. The appeals emphasize ego, status and prestige. For example, a complete man of a Raymond suiting. If you look at the advertisement of Raymond, a person comes with a stylish suit and he goes and offers a rose flower to somebody, then people are looking at him with admiration. So, in that scene it is established that your self-esteem and your status is emphasized there through this fashionable garment, that is Raymond suiting. That a person who wears raiment suiting belongs to a different class of men, that is established in that advertisement. So, we have looked at Saffola, we have looked at Prestige pressure cooker, and we have looked at the raiment suiting also. Similarly, you can look at any form of advertisement, online or on TV or direct marketing. In any situation, this persuasive communication is utilized by various people. Now, let us move on to conflict management. Conflict refers to some form of friction, disagreement or discord arising between two or more persons. Conflict is very common because no two human brains are same, whether they are twin brothers, twin sisters, husband and wife, grandfather or grandson, grandmother, grandson, no two individual brains are same. That is medically proven and scientifically also proven, because the mind functions in a very different way and it takes the stimulus from something and it responds. So, which stimulus is really working on human brain is a big study, still research works are going on. So, conflict can be categorized into the following types based on number of people involved. 1. Intrapersonal conflict, which means it occurs within an individual. Intra, it is inside, inter is outside. So, interpersonal we know, but this is intrapersonal. So, within the person there is a contradiction, conflicting ideas. He thinks positive, then feels that no, this may not be correct, then after some time again he changes the idea. So, it is psychological, involving the feelings, values and thoughts. The inner struggles to resolve conflict may lead to restlessness and uneasiness, or in extreme cases to depression also. So, this is a dangerous situation. So, internal conflict has to be cleared first before you want to go for persuasive communication. Eventually, when the conflict is solved, the person will feel relieved as well as more empowered as a person. So, if you are able to understand not only interpersonal conflict, but also intrapersonal conflict, then you will be a better communicator. That is the idea here. Then the next idea is interpersonal conflict. It means it refers to a conflict between two individuals or more, maybe in a team or basically between two persons. The conflict may arise due to differences in value system, ideas and preferences between two persons, or scarcity of resources. Suppose the resources are less, several people are trying to utilize one particular facility or one particular gadget or one particular anything, that resource becomes single and users are more. In such situations conflict may arise. In general it leads to adjustments between friends. In case of competitors, it may result in win-lose situation. It means somebody can win at the cost of other person, or somebody is losing because of someone. So, that is called win-lose situation, but we should always think of win-win situations, where both the parties are equally satisfied and both are at benefit only. That is a difficult situation, but it is possible. The conflict can be either constructive, leading to innovation of new ideas or products, or destructive, resulting in cutthroat competition. Wherever there is competition, that win-lose situation will come. Wherever there is cooperation, win-win situation will come. So, in these two things, intrapersonal conflict and interpersonal conflict, again your persuasive communication will work. The only thing is one has to try to master this skill, then only it is possible. Now, intra-group conflict is also possible. It arises when individuals in a group have disagreement due to negative emotions or differences in views and ideas. A team is working towards a common goal, but sometimes there is a disagreement due to some negative emotion, like somebody is angry, somebody is frustrated, somebody is irritated or dissatisfied, it can be anything. Positively resolved, the conflict results in improved cooperation among them. At times, the conflict may persist and lead to disintegration of the group. So, before such conflicts take an ugly shape, the person who is in charge of that group or team must enter into negotiation with them and use effective persuasive communication, then try to remove this intra-group conflict. Then there is similarly inter-group conflict also, which happens among the people or with some other team also it can happen. It takes place when there is misunderstanding among different teams. For example, 2-3 teams are working on similar projects, then naturally there is a competition created and these people may have conflicting opinions, or somebody may comment on each other, somebody may compare with each other, it can be anything. For instance, the sales department of an organization may come into conflict with production department, because sales people are always in the field and production department is working in the company or organization, whatever. It depends on the product and the nature of their work. So, production team will say these many things we produced and sales are less. So, we are unable to do anything, or they may say the demand is more, sales team is selling unnecessarily more things and our production is less. So, conflicting opinions may arise. So, intergroup conflict is that example. Now, causes of conflict. Conflict may be caused by one or more of the following factors. Number 1, distributive factors, unfair distribution of resources of rewards. For example, differences in pay between genders or competition between 2 departments for limited space. 2 departments are there, but the place is less, or 2 different genders are working, but the wages are different. So, these are the examples of distributive factors. Then structural factors, status differences between superiors and subordinates, that is also one of the causes of conflict. Human factors such as emotions, jealousy, envy and anger, logical differences in thoughts and relations, amicable and apathetic also, and value differences. Some hold values like honesty, truth and integrity, and others violate. So, when others are violating, these people may not like it, and those who are habituated to violate may force other people to also violate. So, lot of human factors will be there. Then we come to management factors. Conflict caused due to management practices, objectives, policies and procedures and punishment reward system. All these things can also create conflict. Environmental factors, conflict caused due to competition, scarcity or delays in supplies, economic downturn that leads to salary cuts, downsizing, etc. So, these are some of the examples of causes of conflict. In any situation, we can do conflict resolution also. There are some methods like conflict style range from cooperative approach to an assertive approach. There are several types in this, competing, collaborating, avoiding and accommodating conflict resolution techniques. Some people compete and try to resolve, some people collaborate and resolve, some avoid the conflict and resolve, some accommodate others and resolve. Ultimately, compromising is also there. So, these are some of the styles of conflict resolution. Now, role of persuasion in conflict resolution. Persuasion is an indispensable part of conflict resolution. Conflict is resolved only when a negotiated settlement is mutually acceptable. It means both the parties have to give more preference to mutual interest rather than to their self interest. For this, both parties have to be persuaded at different stages of negotiation, not only in business, not only in families, but between the nations also, like Indo-China, Indo-Pak. You can take any number of examples where this persuasive communication can work. In the early stages of negotiation, both the parties tend to oppose each other and stay indifferent to the advice of a mediator. They are dominated by their beliefs and reasoning and use their defensive or aggressive strategies. But a very good negotiator can resolve all these things. To change the thinking modes of the parties, the mediator may use two persuasion approaches. The first is attitudinal change, the second is changing the position. Sometimes you take opposition position and sometimes you take your own position, that is one approach. Or change in the attitude, try to bring some change in the way of thinking and way of doing by empathizing with each other. So, these are some of the things which people must remember in persuasive communication, because it is one of the important skills for any management graduate or corporate executive, government employee, political leader, army officer, you name it, it is important for everybody. So, thank you very much, all the best.